Yes, I just started the recording.
Okay, thank you. So today's program is about the master's programs at University of Florida in the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. And this also includes computer science and data science, cybersecurity. I know many of those areas are pretty popular for students from India. We are recording the presentation today, and we will post this along with the slides on the website later today. I believe we put the link in all of the emails that you received to sign up for this program, but we'll also list it at the end of this presentation. So do not feel that you need to write everything down as we go along. We have lots of people, lots of our current students, lots of our staff on board today to answer your questions. So I will go through a series of slides, but you can ask your questions at any time. So feel free to use the Q&A. You can address them to specific individuals, maybe in a specific department if you have questions, or if you just want to ask a question and then multiple people will chime in. So what we will do is we will start with introductions here. And we'll let everybody go through and introduce themselves to begin with.
Okay. Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Toshi Nishida, and I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs here at the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, and I'm also a professor of electrical and computer engineering. And I'd like to extend my hearty welcome to all of you attending. Thank you.
And my name is Mike Nazareth. I direct graduate student recruiting here for the college at University of Florida. And you've probably received many messages from me, some of you in the last few weeks or over this fall term, and some extending a year or two. So we work to bring in all master's and PhD students for our entire college.
Morning, I'm Ashley Wilson. I'm the coordinator for graduate recruitment.
Good morning, I'm Christina Sapp. I am with CISE and I do the admissions.
Good morning, I'm Sumant Patankar. I'm a professor in chemical engineering and also the master's program coordinator.
Hi, my name is Julissa Nunez, and I'm the graduate admissions officer for the electrical and computer engineering department.
Hi, my name is Megan McMahon. I'm the graduate recruitment and admissions specialist for mechanical and aerospace engineering.
Good morning, my name is Paula Johns. I'm the graduate staff member for the Engineering School of Sustainable Infrastructure and Environment, which houses the Department of Civil and Coastal Engineering and Environmental Engineering Sciences.
Hello, my name is Tahira Franklin. I'm a graduate advisor for Material Science and Engineering and Nuclear Engineering graduate programs.
Hello, my name is Martine Angren, Director of International Student Services for our students entering the United States on the F1 visa, and happy to be here with you all.
Okay, we have several of our current master's students now from India. If you'd like to introduce yourselves. Pavan, are you there?
Yes. Hello, I'm Pavan. I'm a chemical engineering master student, joined fall 2020.
Hello everyone, my name is Shreya Deshpande and I'm from the University of Pune undergrad and currently a master's student at the University of Florida in the computer science department. Nice to meet you all.
Is Daira or Steffi here?
Hi everyone, my name is Tanmay Adikar. I'm a master's student in environmental engineering and I started in fall of 2022. Good to see you all.
Hi, I'm Krishna. I'm from ECE department. I started my PhD this semester in ECE. It's nice meeting you all today.
Okay, did Darshan make it? Samir?
Hey guys, I'm Samir Bawar, and I'm a grad student from the batch of fall 2021 in the Industrial and Systems Engineering.
Hi everyone, I'm Neil Ishwaran. I'm a fall 2022 student in Material Science and Engineering. Happy to meet you all.
Okay, Sri, you there? Okay, so we're going to go through a series of slides now. I know there's a few more students that have just joined, and there may be more as we're going on. We are recording this session, and we will post the slides and the recordings later today and provide the link at the end. It should be the link that was also in the email that you received. If you have questions now, please ask those. You can see we have lots of individuals online here today from University of Florida to assist you. You can address your questions in the Q&A to specific people in the department that you're interested in, or just ask your question and lots of people will chime in. So this first slide shows that we really do have a large community of students from India that are here now at University of Florida and in engineering and computer science. You can see many, many institutions that are represented spanning the whole country of India. So you would not be alone. We have been making a strategic effort to recruit more students for there, I would say, in about the last 5 years. And each of those years, you can see an increase in the number of students across all of our departments that are here. So it's a very exciting time. We're actually looking for the same or even a few more. And we would like to even get it a little more balanced across our engineering departments. So I'm going to let Associate Dean Toshi Nishida go over a few slides now, highlighting some of the details for the university and the college, and then we'll get into more specifics for international and admissions.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. So on behalf of the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, we are very excited to have all of you attend our webinar today. We have outstanding staff, students, and faculty here in the College of Engineering. The College of Engineering is one of 14 colleges at the University of Florida. The University of Florida is a comprehensive land-grant institution. What that means is that includes a very diverse set of disciplines and departments. The university was established in 1853 and on a large campus spanning 2,000 acres and 900 buildings. We have over 57,000 students, which includes over 16,000 graduate students. The numbers of PhD, master's, and professional students at the University of Florida are listed here. The University of Florida is known as a Tier 1 research university, and it has exceptional research activities, and the annual research expenditures exceeded $1 billion last year. The University of Florida includes many amenities and a high quality of life for our community, and includes a number of recreational areas, including 2 lakes, one that is on campus and another that is a short bus ride away. And these are frequented by our students, faculty, and staff. Next slide, please. The Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering was established in 1910 and includes 11 departments and 16 degree programs. The number of faculty has been expanding tremendously. And in fact, the College of Engineering was named the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering because of a generous gift by an alumnus that was combined with generous support from the state and the university. The College of Engineering has over, and this number actually is now has been surpassed. Our incoming class includes over 12,000 students, and we have nearly 4,000 graduate students, and the numbers of PhD and master's students are all rising. The University of Florida has been ranked the top 5 national public university. Next slide, please. The rankings of the university are detailed here, and it shows the rise in rankings over the years. And the university is now in the top 5 of the national public universities. And this speaks to the high quality of our students, staff, and faculty, and the tremendous resources available for students who come to the University of Florida. Next slide, please. The departments and degree programs are listed on this slide, and they span from aerospace to nuclear and engineering sciences. And you can see all the different departments and degrees that are listed here. These include all the engineering disciplines, with the exception of petroleum and architectural engineering. So within the College of Engineering, you can find basically all the areas that you may be interested, and the rankings of these departments are high and rising. Next slide, please. In terms of the department rankings, these are listed here based on the 2022 U.S. News and World Report. And you can see that many of our departments are in the top 5 and all are within the top 20. Next slide, please. In terms of the number of students from India, as Mike mentioned, we have a significant number of students from India, and the number of students by department are listed here. And so this speaks to a large number of students who have chosen to make the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering as their destination for their master's and PhD degrees. Next slide, please. The University of Florida, and particularly the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, continues to expand. And in terms of the number of buildings, the number of buildings continues to increase. The number here of 60 buildings and over 1 million gross square feet of engineering facilities is already outdated. And I'll talk about the 61st and 62nd building in the next few slides. Next slide, please. The 61st building is the Herbert Wertheim Laboratory for Engineering Excellence, which opened in fall of 2020. And this building, which is located in the middle of campus, across from the Wrights Student Union, has state-of-the-art biotech labs, prototyping labs, as well as a global teleconferencing lab, and innovative collaboration and classrooms. Next slide, please. Of the many initiatives, one that I'd like to specifically highlight is the AI, or artificial intelligence, initiative of the university, which is being led by the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. One of the alumnus of the College of Engineering, in a generous support in collaboration with NVIDIA, is really spearheading the AI partnership with NVIDIA and the AI University initiative of the University of Florida. UF now houses the fastest AI supercomputer in higher education, and it consists of a 3rd generation hypergator, which includes NVIDIA's most advanced AI software, integrating 140 NVIDIA DGX A100 systems with 1,120 NVIDIA A100 Tensor Core GPUs. Next slide, please. The 62nd building in the College of Engineering is being built right now, and there's in the top right is a picture of what the building will look like upon completion. And the picture on the bottom right is a snapshot from the webcam. And so I understand this is accurate as of about yesterday. Is that right, Mike?
This is last week.
Last week, okay. And this is really going to be the central focal point for the AI University initiative. It will be completed next year, and it will serve as the headquarters for the Computer and Information Sciences Engineering and Electrical and Computer Engineering departments, and include a number of very, very advanced, highly experiential laboratories, including hands-on labs for VR, AI, cybersecurity, IoT, as well as GPUs. Next slide, please. I believe that's the last slide in my set. So I'll hand it over now to Mike, who will introduce our next speaker. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And again, we're very excited that you are joining this webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toshi. So again, for those of you who have questions, please put those in the Q&A. Any specifics, this is really the time that things can be answered. So there's many extra requirements for international students to come here beyond admissions. So we're fortunate to have Martine, who's the director in our International Center, to go over some of these now. I know most of you are looking for fall 2023 and have yet to apply, but some that had registered had already applied and been admitted for spring, so coming right up. So Martine, if you'd like to go over some of your details now.
Thank you so much, Michael, and for College of Engineering for always including the ISS team. I will go ahead and talk about our F1 International Student Office and give you some links to web pages that will go into more detail because, of course, we can only highlight a few things for today. Next slide, please. So incoming F1 students, if you are admitted for the spring, awesome. And if you will be attending in person in the US, then of course these rules apply to you for what we will discuss. If you will be staying abroad for the spring, I'm not sure, but some of this information therefore would not apply until you enter the United States as an F1. So we have a QR code here that will take you to one of our landing pages. And from there, you can tour our website for all of the information that we've hyperlinked here. There's a lot more, but this is certainly information that you need to know prior to your arrival, and then some preliminary information as you are here in the US. Today, we'll focus on just a little bit of each of these topics. Next slide. So estimated startup costs, if you are a graduate student for the year 2023, will be $51,705 as an international student. So if you will be coming on an F1 visa, this is the amount that you would have to show for your I-20 based on your credits of 24 credits for the year and for living expenses. If you will be provided the Achievement Award, then you would only be required to show $47,205 per year. We only need to see the first academic year in order to provide you the I-20. However, you are expected to be able to support yourself throughout your entire program. The I-20 process is completely online. So you will, once admitted, you will receive instructions for the I-20. Your department has to put in your I-20 request into our ISSS portal, and then we will review what they've put into the system for you, information regarding your major, regarding whether or not you have the Achievement Award, and what semester you'll be starting, so that we know when to start on that process. So for example, right now we're working on all of our incoming spring students. Once we're done with our incoming spring students and go through the registration process and validation process for spring, then we'll start on our summer and thereafter the fall. We tend to work on summer and fall together, but always give priority to the students who are actually starting in the summer. So once we see that information, the I-20 request from your academic department, we will send you an automated email from the system. It will be sent to the same email address that you use to apply to UF. So we know a lot of students create a special application email so that you can get all that information in this very important account. And then sometimes they forget, or they then start using their UF account once they have access to that. Prior to your arrival to the university for your first semester and within about the first 30 days, we use the personal email account that you use to apply to UF. Somewhere within that 30 days and thereafter, we then use your DataLink account. So make sure you're checking both at least through the first 30 days of the semester, and then always checking your DataLink account. So you'll receive an email that tells you to log into the ISSS portal, where we will have all of the instructions and information that you need. If you go through all of that very carefully, you should be able to submit a very clear-cut application for your I-20. We only give the I-20 instructions after you've been admitted and after the department has submitted an I-20 request for you. Please allow about a week from the time they submit a request for you to receive the instructions from us. Once you upload everything you need, fill out all of the questionnaires, you have to scroll back to the top to click Submit Application. At the bottom of each questionnaire, there is a submit or a save. If you click Save, you'll be able to come back and modify that questionnaire. If you click Submit, that questionnaire will be submitted within the application, However, the entire application is not submitted until you scroll back to the very top and click Submit Application. Each student has an F1 advisor based on their surname. Your surname, so for example, surname as it is listed in the passport. So make sure you look in that passport, and then you'll be able to see on our website who your specific F1 advisor is. The F1 advisor reviews all of the information that the department put in the record another time, and then also reviews the information that you have uploaded to make sure that we have everything necessary to issue the I-20. We'll then send you an email with instructions on how to download the I-20 from the ISSS portal. It will not be shipped. Fortunately, during the pandemic, the government allowed us to start issuing the I-20s electronically. So everyone will have access to the I-20 through the ISSS portal. Download that through color printer is best because our signature is in blue and that's always helpful. And then once you have that I-20, you will then go to the next slide, please. Be able to pay your SEVIS fee. That is a fee that is required for all students to pay, and it goes only to the government. After you pay that fee, then you'll be able to complete your DS-160 visa application form, because for your visa, you do need to have paid the SEVIS fee. The visa itself application has a fee of its own, so those are two separate fees. Once you are able to do your DS-160 and schedule your F1 appointment, then you'll be able to wait on that process to get your F1 visa. Please keep your DS-160 visa application form, because that will be a document that we request as part of your check-in. Okay, so among other documents that you'll need for the visa appointment, make sure you have your printed documents with you. So we send the I-20 to you electronically, or you have access to it electronically. Your department might give you your admission letter electronically, but these are all things that you must print and have in hand to take with you to the embassy. So your I-20, your admission letter, proof of funds, and your passport. If you have any dependents, then of course bring documentation that they are your spouse or your child. And of course you need to have the I-20 for that spouse or child also. If you will be bringing a spouse and or children, then you will need to show additional funds than what we discussed earlier. And all of that is detailed in the I-20 instructions. So fortunately, hopefully, you'll then have your F1 visa, then schedule your flight, and then into the US. So this is the order in which you should do these. We have students who say, I've already scheduled my flight, or I've already made a visa appointment. If you don't have your I-20 and your visa before the next steps, then you shouldn't be doing those next steps, okay? Once you enter the United States, you then complete your UFIC check-in. That is an online process. It's no longer in person, and you are able to register for classes. You must be registered for classes prior to the deadlines that we'll talk about in a couple more slides. So arriving to Gainesville, when you're traveling, make sure you have, again, printed and on your person, your I-20, admission letter, F1 visa, passport. You should also carry your proof of funds, and if you have dependents, their documents. Do not pack any of those things in your luggage. Do not lose them. Scan a copy of all of them before you travel to keep digitally just in case, but you should certainly have the handheld versions of all of these documents. You can only enter the US up to 30 days before the program start date on your I-20. Depending on if you have an assistantship, for example, there may be other requirements before the actual start of your classes, but all of that is within the 30 days prior. So classes will start on August 23rd, I believe, next year. So your I-20 will say program start date, August 23rd, and then it will also say earliest arrival date, July 24th. So no earlier than that time frame. Keep in mind that many affordable housing on or off campus are only available around August 8th or later, because once students have to leave their contract around July 31st, the complex needs cleanup time, turnover time. So it usually takes about a week in between. So you don't really want to arrive much earlier than that, so that you're not worried about staying in a hotel temporarily. All right, next slide. So our check-in process, as I mentioned, is online. It is mandatory. If you don't do that online check-in, we cannot validate the F1 SEVIS record. So you are required to do that immediately upon your arrival. Please make sure you complete before the classes start or by the drop-add deadline. Drop-add is typically 5 days after the start of classes. Once that deadline is reached, we start reviewing all records to make sure students have checked in and have registered full-time. So critical dates and deadlines, they are online. If you're starting in the spring, there's some information on our website there. Actually on the UF main campus website and not necessarily our office website. But the dates are all there. These dates include mainly the information for our fall incoming students. But yes, please go to the website to see specifically what those dates are, depending on the semester in which you will start. Next slide. All right, maintaining F1 status. As an F1 student, the standard regulations are, as a graduate student, you must register for 9 credits each fall, each spring. If you're admitted in the summer, you also must register in the summer. But if you're not admitted in the summer, then the summer is considered a vacation semester. If you're not admitted in the summer, if you're not graduating in the summer, or have an internship or other responsibilities that the university requires, that is considered a vacation semester. Therefore, please know that the summer is typically a vacation summer and does not require registration. Otherwise, you are required to register full-time as graduate students. That's 9 credits. If anyone happens to be incoming as an undergrad, that would be 12. Without the accommodation of COVID, you have a maximum 3 credit online allowed per semester. There's currently a COVID accommodation that is applicable through summer of next year. And we don't know if that will apply to fall of next year. So we don't have that detailed in this presentation, as we're not sure whether or not the government will allow that. So go ahead and expect that the requirement will be 9 credits, of which no more than 3 credits can be online, 100% online. Employment as an F1 student, whether it's called employment, training, co-op, shadow, internship, externship, remote online, however it is named by the company, you are 99.9% required to have authorization for it. I say 99.9 because there's certain things that are, if it's an internship on campus, limited to 20 hours during the fall or spring, or full-time in the summer, and it's by UF, then you would not need authorization. But anything that is not UF, or anytime it's over 20 hours on or off campus, then you would need authorization to do that for the fall or spring specifically, and off campus for the summer, if you have an internship in the summer. Okay. Otherwise, your employment is limited to 20 hours or less per week and on the UF campus only. You cannot work off campus within your first academic year, and you always need to have authorization for off-campus activity. When you are in your program, your employment, training, etc., is called CPT. And once you are graduating, then your employment or training thereafter would be called OPT. We have more information on our website regarding that. Next slide. All right, so on our website, we have contact information for your F1 advisors. We currently have 5 F1 advisors who are full-time working on all processes, and we have 3 new F1 advisors who are training to also become one of the core advisors. So soon there will be 8, which will allow us to go from an average of 1,100 students per advisor to around 750, 800 students per advisor. So you see that's still a huge caseload. So we do ask that you reach out to your specific advisor so that not any one person is inundated with the work and therefore unable to respond to you as soon as we try to respond to our students. So more information is on our website. Click the I-20 process for you to learn more about the general process for the I-20. But nothing will be mailed, everything will be online and provided to you through the ISSS portal. All right, so key information here, if you are admitted to UF, which we hope you are, after you're admitted, your department will submit an I-20 request for you. You will then receive an email from us with the instructions. Read all the instructions, upload all the documents, and then at the very top, scroll up and click Submit Application. Okay. I hope this has been helpful for you. And unfortunately, I do have a 9 o'clock meeting, so I won't be able to stay for questions, but I'm sure if there are questions that are provided to engineering, they'll accumulate all those for me and I'll try to answer them as best as I can.
Okay, thank you so much, Martine. Here's another slide that has those specific individuals that she was referring to on their website, and it's great to hear that there'll be 3 more that will be coming on soon. So any very specific questions, for I-20s, F1 visas, all the content that she just mentioned. You can certainly ask those questions here. Also, some of our graduate staff in our departments are familiar with some of the areas as well, as they help to admit all of the master's students coming in each year. So all of you are looking at a master's degree today, and we have a couple flavors of the master's degree. The more traditional one that most of the international students partake in is to move to the United States, to come to Florida, to come to Gainesville and spend 4 semesters. We have the fall semester and the spring semester. The fall begins around that 2nd or 3rd week of August and goes until early December, 16 weeks. And we have the spring term that's around the 1st week of January until about the end of April. So most students do fall and spring and then a 2nd year of fall and spring. We have a couple master students that are here in the summer months, but not that many. And most take classes. They're trying to get more technical expertise and experience, more knowledge in a particular subject area and receive their degree in that, and then are off to search for a job. That's the main version. We also have a version where some students are thinking about they might want to stay after for the PhD. So that could be an option for you. You would do everything that's just mentioned, but you would also perhaps have a thesis at the end of your master's degree on a research topic, and you might be doing some research throughout. You may engage and meet a faculty member and be able to work on some of those areas. So these options exist. The final option is Edge Online Studies. So some students are not interested in moving here to Florida or to Gainesville. They want to reside in their current location or their current country, and they want to take the classes online. So we do have this option, but do know that this is not all departments in our Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering. Each department can decide if they're participating, and that changes from year to year. So you want to do a little research on that to make sure they are offering it. But if they do offer it, it's the same great quality and content as our on-campus programs. The classes are filmed. You can watch them live with the other students, or if you have a job and you're working, they're posted to the website and you can watch them later that day. And then for exams, those are proctored to you at your current location. We work out a system for that. And the tuition is much less. It's a much less reduced amount since those students do not come and move here to campus. So these are the 2 main areas. And specifically for admission, these are the exact numbers for this fall. So this is across all of our departments. We had almost 4,400 applications. These numbers were actually a little bit low. If you go back the last 5 years, we are between 4,500 and 5,500 applications college-wide. It's still a lot, a tremendous amount, but there was a little bit of a slump with us and with many institutions because of COVID and because of delays in countries throughout the world and visa issues, etc. So when I looked earlier this week, applications are just starting to come for next fall 2023. There's about 700 or 800, but we are expecting roughly 5,000 applications again. So we admitted over 1,900 students, and this number was a little higher. It's usually been between 2,000 and 2,500, but the percentage remains the same. It's always around this 40 to 47%. I've never seen more than 50% that are admitted, so you can expect that to be about the same. It is competitive. Everybody who applies does not get admitted, but a large amount do. And we had 804 new students that enrolled for master's programs this fall term. I've seen that number in the last 5 years range between 750 to 950. So I would think we would have around 900, maybe a little bit more coming for this next fall. We do not have a specific number. We are not trying to get at a certain number. I've not seen us over 1,000, but anything's possible in the future, pending on faculty hires. We don't want our classes to be too overloaded. You can see the average GPA, but this doesn't necessarily apply to India because you're on the 10.0 scale. So that varies, and we'll talk about that. Those were the GRE numbers, but we've had many departments waive the GRE requirements in the last couple of years. And in fact, all of them are waiving except for CISE for this coming fall. And then some of the English proficiency requirements as well. So when you take a step further and you break this down just for India for the fall, you can see that 57% of our applications were from India. So we're expecting this to be between, to maintain, but 45 to 50 some percent for fall 2023. So we do have a tremendous amount of interest, and almost half, 46% of those students that were admitted were from institutions in India, and about half of our enrolling class for fall 2022 were from India. Those were the verbal and the quantitative scores for the GRE, but again, some of departments were not requiring it this last year. And then you can see the English proficiency as well. So every department has waived the GRE with the exception of CISE. None of the others are requiring that. And what I'd like to do now is I would like to let our graduate staff talk about their individual requirements and anything else they would like to mention as far as admission. And we will start with our CISE department and Christina Sapp.
Hi, everybody. So like Mike said, we do require the GRE, and we also require 2 to 3 letters of recommendations. One of the most important thing I can tell you is on the letters of recommendation, when you're filling out your application, you're going to have to request it then. Once you submit your application, you cannot go back in and change everything. And I get requests for me to update. I get over 2,000 applications, so my answer is going to probably be no. So make sure you're paying attention to not only what the graduate school is requiring, but make sure that you go to the different colleges, whether you're applying for our department or any other department, and verify what their requirements are as well, because sometimes they do differ. And let's see, I think that is it from our side. But if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll be on till the end and can answer any questions that you may have. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you. Sumant for chemical engineering.
Thanks, Mike. So we do not require the GRE, and we also have an application fee waiver. So if you need the waiver code, just send me an email, or I'll take the list of emails from the webinar and I'll send out the information on how to get that. We do require the language scores, though. I think the TOEFL or IELTS is valid.
Okay, great. Thank you. Jaleesa and ECE.
Hi, I wanted to echo a little bit of what Christina was saying. Please make sure that you check the department's website for their specific requirements. ECE, for example, has different requirements for the statement of purpose. So please make sure that you read through our application procedure page before you apply. And just to mention, ECE is one of the departments that does have an EDGE program in case anyone is interested. We do also require English language test scores for students from India. And at this moment, we're not accepting Duolingo test scores, and we're not accepting the IELTS indicator. Just to let you guys know, we are currently accepting the TOEFL, the IELTS Academics, and the TOEFL Home Edition. We don't currently require the GRE, and we don't have application fee waivers. And then feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any specific questions.
Okay, thank you, Paula and Essie.
Sure. So we also do not require the GRE. We do have an application fee waiver, which you can see our email at the very end of the webinar to obtain. We do ask for language test scores, of course, a resume. You'll see some background courses mentioned on our admissions website as well. It is the admissions process and requirements are the same for civil, coastal, and environmental programs that we offer. And we, again, make sure that you get those letters of recommendation in. And we do ask that for unofficial transcripts, and if possible, if you can't get in the official test scores, unofficial test scores will be okay for review purposes only.
Okay, great. Megan and MAE.
Yes, hi. So you can see our GPA requirements.
We're having trouble hearing you, Megan.
Sorry, so new headset.
There we go.
You can see our GPA requirements there. We are currently waiving the GRE through fall 2023. We are not offering an application fee waiver at this time. You can see our application deadline there, but it is a little bit fluid. So if you don't make it by that deadline, please don't worry and reach out. We will be, we will still look at your application, even if it's past that deadline.
Okay, great. And Tahara for materials.
Hi, hello. So our requirements are pretty much the same as the other departments. We do require English language proficiency test scores. We do not require the GRE, and we strongly advise that you do not submit them because we're not going to review the GRE scores. And the other point to make is that if your GRE score is below the required minimum by the graduate school, then that would bar admission. So do not submit those GRE scores for us for review. We do require letters of recommendation, resume, personal statement. So the same things as the other departments, and I would echo what everyone else is saying. Make sure that you contact the specific department, review the specific department's website for their requirements. As far as our deadline, we are very fluid. December 5th is the preferred deadline, but we will accept applications up until 60 days prior. We know that isn't ideal for students that are coming in on visas, but we do want you to know that we are fluid with the application deadline.
Great, thank you. So some other things to keep in mind for master's admission to University of Florida. You can apply to any of these departments regardless of what your undergraduate or your current major is. So if you were undergraduate in electrical engineering and you wanted to apply to computer science for a master's, that's fine. If you're undergraduate in materials and you wanted to apply to a master's in chemical, you can do that. Obviously, the more similar the areas are, the better chance for admission. So we do offer that. You can apply to multiple areas. So there's a faculty admissions committee in each of our departments, and some students apply to 2 different master's degrees. So if you want to apply to 2 departments, you can do that. It's a different decision, a different group of people that meet for each. You might get admitted to both. You might just get admitted to one. The deadline is April 15th, 2023. So if you're admitted, then you have until that time to let us know if you're going to accept your admission or decline your admission. Now, some departments extend that deadline to May 1st or to May 15th. If we have thousands of applications, sometimes it takes longer to get all of them reviewed. So no matter what, you should have a minimum of 2 weeks whenever you hear in order to decide and make that decision. So some of the departments talked about application fee waivers. The bulk of them are not offering them. Mechanical and aerospace engineering updated you that they are not offering them, even though that's listed here. For those that are not offering them, the good news is our admissions application fee is $30 in the US. So this is one of the most economical, if not the most economical in the entire United States. I have not seen them raise that admissions application fee in over 10 years here. So really the fee pays the college net application in our Office of Admission. There's no funds at all that are made to University of Florida. It's just the administrative fee to the company for the electronic online application. But many, many institutions in the US are considerably higher at $75, $100, $150, but we are not. The last thing I wanted to mention for this is each department has a deadline or priority deadline. So please follow that. In fact, my recommendation to all of you is to apply before the end of this year. Before the end of 2022, we receive thousands of applications, and the general rule is the longer it takes you to apply, the longer you can expect to receive your decision back. So you can wait until later. So many do into January and February, and that's okay, but it will take us longer to get back to you. Our application does not shut off. So even though there is a deadline listed here, the application remains open all the way into May and June of next year. But again, I would not recommend waiting that long. I would try to get it in before the end of this year, or if you needed January and that department allowed it, then I would use that as the latest. Okay, so we had a lot of our current students here, so I'm going to let some of them talk now. Let's start with Shreya in CISE. So we have several other things that are needed for your application. So Shreya, do you have any advice for them when they're writing their SOP, the statement of purpose?
Yeah, I think statement of purpose is the most important way for you to tell the university of what you have been through, what are your goals, what is your past, your experience, and you can tell a whole story of why would you be a good fit here. And I think taking time and slowly writing the SOP, it cannot be done overnight. You cannot expect to do it in even a week. I think it takes a lot of time. I would definitely suggest you to get it checked from someone else with a different perspective, and that would really help in making a good SOP.
Okay, that's great advice. Pavan, do you have any additional advice for the students? You're in chemical engineering.
I think that would be a general advice, but for chemical engineering, I think you should focus more on what you want to do and figuring out that first, and try to research into the faculty already present, and look at what research you want to do, and yeah, write a little about that too.
Okay, good, thank you. How about some advice from our students in seeking your letters of recommendation? Satya, Krishna, do you have some advice? You're in the ECE department.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I mean, letters of recommendations are really important. Make sure that you take your recommendations from people who you know better, who can really judge you, who've seen you work. So, and then I guess I wouldn't say you should take recommendations from friends and stuff, or for like work colleagues, but to take from managers and team leads if you're for a working company, or from your professors, and then request them to, so I guess that would be my advice. Just take recommendations from people who you really know, who can really judge you better. That's it.
Okay, good. Shri, Harsa, do you have any other advice for them on, especially on when they should be asking for these? You're in mechanical and aerospace engineering.
Oh, yes. Ideally, they should be asking their professors for like a couple of weeks, maybe a month before they're intended to supply the letters of recommendation. Maybe earlier is better because you'll get time to curate it if you want to and send that to professors in time. I've heard stories of people missing the deadline for document submission by the professors who couldn't find the email for that. So I'd say it's better to be in touch with your professor well in advance and let them know that they're going to be asked to send the letters of recommendation.
Yes, that's a good point. So when you submit your admission application, it's not complete until all of the other pieces show up with the application, and the letters of recommendation need to show up from those professors. So they need time. So you can't receive an official admission decision until they're here. So you definitely want to back that up in advance so they have time to get those included with it. So I want to talk about cost. That's important to all of you, and then let some of our other students validate what they feel the costs are like here. So we talked about that University of Florida is ranked #5 top public university in the United States and remained at that ranking this year. So for 2 years in a row. Well, these are all of the top 10 schools this year, according to the same rankings of US News and World Report. But when you look at this, we are actually ranked #1 for tuition, the most cost-effective tuition out of these top 10 schools. It's actually 11 schools because 2 of them were tied. And we are actually the most cost-effective when it comes to the cost of living in town. So you have these 2 main costs when you go for your master's program. You have to pay the institution for the tuition, and then your cost to live in the town. So let's let some of our students talk about what they feel like the costs are like here, and maybe even compared to some friends that they may have in other areas. So how about we can start with Neil. Neil is in material science and engineering. Would you like to share some of your thoughts?
Yeah, Mike, sure. So the costs here are actually very low. It's not some kind of hoax or something. And I think if you can budget, even if you want to eat out sometimes and enjoy yourself, I don't think it exceeds with all the groceries and all your food included. It doesn't exceed $800 a month. That's the maximum ceiling. As compared to others for universities where my friends are paying $1,000 just in rent. So it's quite cheap here. Yeah.
Okay, good. Samir, do you have any thoughts on this? You're in industrial systems engineering.
Yep. So do you want me to talk specifically about the cost of attendance or like overall?
Either way, whatever you think would be helpful for these prospects deciding whether or not to apply here.
Yeah, sure. So talking like the basic thing about application is the application itself. And the most important things are your LORs, that is the letter of recommendations, and your SOPs. And the scores, like you got the insights from the professors or all the officials, like what should be your scores and everything. I'll specifically talk about the SOP. So yeah, SOP in UF, I've seen that they have a really holistic approach. So they are not going to focus only on one thing. That's what we do in India. So you need to have like good marks. That's not the case. You have to have like overall your profile or whatever you're putting in your SOP. That should be like balanced. That's what I'll advise you guys to do, and put everything you have done in your life. Like even if you have worked in non-governmental organizations, just put it out. The second thing is LOR. It is a plus point to get an LOR from like if you have been employed previously from your employer. So basically you have to have 3 LORs. So 2 from your professors and 1 from your employer. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the cost of attendance. So yeah, UF is really inexpensive compared to the other universities. And Gainesville, you can find like really good places with, let's say, a really cheap accommodation. And some places you can even share the room with your roommates if you're like friends coming on like together. So it will cost you as cheap as $250 per month on your rent. And food, of course, UF has a really good pantry option. So every week you can go and you can have food from there. You can stock up, you can pile up your groceries. So yeah, UF is one of the most reasonable universities I've seen in the US as compared like talking with my friends who live in Northeast, let's say New York or everything. So currently I'm paying about like $400 a month on my rent, and the utilities are about 50%, $50. That's it. So yeah, it's quite cheap, and keep all of these things in your mind, like while you're going to apply.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So we do have some funding, which is good that we can provide something. Most of the master students do pay their own way, whether they're from India, whether they're from the US, or whether they're from another country. We do offer the Academic Achievement Award. And the great thing about this is that you don't have to do anything. We don't require separate applications or processes or paperwork. If you apply to the master's program in the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering, any department, this includes computer science, data science, and if you are admitted, and if you come here and enroll at University of Florida, then you automatically get this. We will track it and do all of the work. And when your tuition bill comes, you will be subtracted $1,500 off of your out-of-state tuition for 3 semesters in a row for a total of $4,500. So it's nice that we can give some cost savings back. Many institutions in the US would not provide any scholarship break at all. So this is something you can look forward to. If you're looking at the EDGE program and the department you're interested in offers this, then this is a significantly discounted tuition. So there is a break there. If for some reason the Florida residents, most are not online now, they have a much less tuition break as well for those that are already residents of this state. So I know this is important to all of you, not just coming here and having a good experience and good classes and a high product, but also what is going to happen when you finish with your degree? What will happen with respects to jobs and to internships? So we have an office that is their goal and their mission, to help all of the University of Florida students with jobs and internships, to help all of the master's students, the bachelor students, and the PhD students. So I'll let some of our current students talk about this if they've gone to the career fair and their thoughts on this. Tanmay, you're in our SE department. Have you interfaced with these areas?
Yes, I have. Thanks, Mike. So it's super cool. So twice a year, once in spring, once in fall, they're going to send out emails saying that, oh, we're going to do this evening with industry. So I'm in SE, so we have this thing called Evening with Industries, where all these companies, the firms, environmental firms, civil engineering firms, they're going to come. And then you're supposed to go there, take all of your resumes, do your homework first, and just go out there, talk to people. They'll take your resumes, you'll get some interviews out of it. And the good part is they are willing to give you a visa. So they can sponsor your visa for an H-1B. And if you're lucky enough to get it, it's fantastic. You can work in US for like next 10 years. And even not, then you can still work on your OPT. So it's kind of cool that, and they're super interactive. Everyone's going to be super nice. You're going to get tons of opportunities to start working here as soon as you can.
Very good. Would another one of our students like to talk about if they just went to the career showcase? Anyone is fine. Shreya or Pavan, did you go?
Yeah, I did visit Atanmay already talked about what it is like to go to the career fair. For all the diversity students out there, there is separate career fair for diversity students only. There are also career fairs to specific departments. Since I'm from the computer science department, CIC hosts their own career fair during the same time that the College of Engineering hosts their career fair. And so I think, especially with the diversity students and your department specific, you have a lot of career fairs and hence a lot of options to visit to the companies too. I would highly suggest you to look at all the companies that are coming, which ones are sponsoring visa, since we are international students, and going to those specific booths, talking to them, making your pitch ready for about 50 seconds or so. And I think, yeah, the whole interview process would come then to you by just going to a 1 or 2 day career fair.
So that's great, good advice. So yes, we have the large event for a couple days in the fall and a couple days in the spring. And then these companies can come on any of the weeks of the year, not just at these times. But as she mentioned, we do have individual departments that host separate ones as well. Christina actually coordinates this for CISE. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this event?
So just to say that, as you can tell, we've grown from like 30 companies to having over 50 companies. And we're hoping to continue to build that because we do want to bring opportunities into our students. We had over 1,600 students that came through this last time. And I want to say about 18 of the companies sponsored visas. There was quite a lot of opportunities for our international students. So we do offer this twice a year. So I would encourage you, if you're here, to attend this event. It is great opportunities for internships as well as jobs at the end of your degree program with us. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, so many departments have, if not all of them, extra events, sometimes surrounding around the career fair, sometimes at different times of the year, separate companies bringing in their alumni, etc., to help out. Tanmay mentioned at the Evening with Industry and the SE department. Paula, is there anything else you would like to add to that?
No, I think our current student did a great job of explaining the event. We have had over 70 companies sign up for our event that just took place. Unfortunately, it didn't get to have its abundance of companies come because of a hurricane that came through around that same time. But we were expecting over 70 companies to join. We had about 30 join that could actually make it into town that day. But we hold ours in the Champions Club, which is above the stadium or part of the stadium. And we have this every fall and spring. So we are planning our spring one right now.
Okay, great. Our industrial and systems engineering department, they also have companies that come in at separate times. So you can see there's lots of opportunities to receive assistance. So we have more going on among the many items that we've already talked about. Besides just within engineering, we have an Indian community right here at University of Florida. So this is students across all majors, all colleges, etc. It's our Indian Graduate Student Association. So are some of the current students today members of this or have attended some of the events and would like to talk about and inform the prospects about this?
Yeah, sure. I can go. So with all the major events or the festivals that happen in India, there are some or the other events that IGSA does. I think the best one was the Holi festival where they had bought an entire fire truck and just there was water. You get free white t-shirts, so you look cool, and there are colors. And I think that was like the best event that IGS had hosted. There's also Diwali. You name the festival and there is something that IGSA does. There's also an association called ISA, which has not just grad students, but all the students, all the Indian students, and they host some pretty cool events too. So let any festival come, either of them would host one or the other event that you will go to and enjoy.
Very good. Would any of our other current students like to talk about this or events and activities that the students here participate in? Neil or Samir, outside of classes, what do you do for fun?
Okay, so there are a lot of things to like for fun. Gainesville is a kind of a small city. You can't expect as much fun as you like will have in New York or some kind of a big city. But yeah, it's happening because of it's like a student city. Mostly there are students. So for fun, I go out with like my friends, local friends, like local American friends, to places like downtown. We have a lot of clubs. We have a lot of arcade bars where you can play games. Then you can go for kayaking and a lot of things. Also, UF has a really good facility that is called as the Rec Sports. That is the recreational complex. So if you're a fitness freak or you are into any kind of sports, that is the place to go. So currently I'm in the UF national team for cricket, and that's what I do for fun. I go and I practice and I go and interact with people, a lot of friends. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So Sajid is one of the officers in the Indian Graduate Student Association. He asked me to provide this slide to all of you today for the WhatsApp group if you're coming for spring, or they will have a WhatsApp group for next fall. That will be the largest one. That is usually out by February or March or something. But he has also provided all of the other ways to stay in touch with their Facebook and their websites and all of their events, etc. So feel free to get a hold of him at any time and the other officers. So we'll spend just another couple minutes on housing. There's on-campus housing, there's off-campus housing. I know there's a few areas that the Indian students tend to live, but they can certainly live anywhere in town. Maybe Shri, Harsha, do you want to talk about housing a little bit or any recommendations?
Most Indian students try to live around Southwest Gainesville because that's where most of that's where the only Indian grocery store is, and that's where most of the Indian community resides. Grad students, mostly like PhD students, they end up in grad housing like the Corey Village or the Diamond Village. Most students would probably prefer to live on streets where live in places where it's easy to get into campus. So Southwest Gainesville, around the Niche, University Terrace, all of that area is very accessible by bus routes. So that's where most of the students live, and it's pretty affordable. So you could probably manage it very well, and you can actually support yourself just working a little small part-time job, not even full-time, and you can pay the rent and utilities. That's
Great, thank you. Tenmei, do you want to talk about the busing so they can become familiar with that? Have you used that here?
The busing, of course, yes.
Yeah.
So first of all, the buses are free for all UF students. All you need is a UFID, which you can just show them while boarding the bus, and you can absolutely go anywhere you want. Since she just said that most of the students live on the 34th Street, 34th Street is very well connected to the rest of the city. There's a transfer station right down the road, where you can practically walk, and then that takes you to all the places that you need to go in Gainesville. And if you don't have a UFID to begin with, there is you just show them an I-20 and they will take you on the bus, but do not forget the UFID. And it's pretty well connected, so I don't think anyone should have any problem with it. The bus frequency is pretty good, so every 10 or 20 minutes, you're gonna have a bus to get on campus. If you don't wanna go on campus, go somewhere else, there's gonna be a bus every 15 minutes. So I think it should be pretty easy to travel around Gainesville.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have lots of sports and recreational events as well. So we have competitive sports. We're the Florida Gators. That's our mascot. Competitive sports is where we play other universities throughout the Southeast states and throughout the United States. And we have all of the men's and women's sports. And most of our students go as fans. It's a good time. It's a fun time. I just went to the basketball game last night. That's the picture in the bottom. There's the football stadium above. There's women's softball, men's baseball, women's volleyball, all the sports you can think of. But then our students also mentioned that we have sports for fun, and that is for our students who it's not as competitive. It's just something to go out and have fun with other students that are on the campus. So we talked a little bit about Gainesville. I'll just let our students talk for another minute or so. Maybe what else they might say, what Gainesville's like, maybe the temperature, how that compares to India. Who would like to go for this? Pavan, would you like to talk about this some? Is Pavan still there? If not, Satya, are you there?
Yes. No, yeah, so, sorry, what was the question? I just got lost.
Just talk about this slide. So what it's like living in Gainesville, or if you've traveled to some of the other big cities, what the temperature is like compared to India.
Right, sure, sorry, yeah, so first of all, I used to stay in the southern part of India, so the temperature for me is really convenient. It's all sunny and it's really good. And I especially like Gainesville because it's really peaceful. I like the trees and the the weather is all sunny. It's really good. Yeah. Also, I've been to Orlando. I've been to Tampa and Daytona Beach. So all these places are pretty good, and they're pretty much fun. And the weather, I would say, it's not like the other places in the US what people think of seeing in India. It's all cold and full of snow. Now Florida is really good, and it's all sunny. It's really similar to temperature in India, so it's really easily you can accustom to this temperature like really easily, and it's really good. And I really like to stay in Gainesville. So yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Neil, do you have any final advice for these prospects or words of wisdom?
Well, I've been here only one semester, and all I can say is it's a really great place to live. It's a great place to study. The professors whom I have interacted with as of now are really helpful. They do respond to your emails. They clear your questions if you have any. They don't jump over stuff. Apart from that, there's a lot of stuff to enjoy here. There are a lot of people taking trips, a lot of clubs making their own trips. And as someone suggested earlier, the Southwest Recreation Center, I go there to play many a times. You don't have to have your own equipment. You can just take what's there in the recreation center. And overall, it's a really good place to study and live. And apart from that, if you do well yourself, I think it's a great place to build a career.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping things up now, but we can answer questions. So if there's any questions you didn't have, please type those in the Q&A and we will answer them here in a minute. Most of you received the master's offer and you filled out this short form. This short form is not the official admissions application. It's just a 30-second to 1-minute form. It lets us know that you are going to be applying, what term you're applying, what departments you're interested in, and maybe more details of the areas of specialization you would like. So if you haven't done that, feel free to do that. It is not required. We will be posting the slides and the recordings here. You've received these same links in the emails to come and attend the webinar today. So those will all be up later today. We have many students that wanted to help today, and we did have quite a few that showed up for this webinar. So all of them have said that it's fine for you to contact them. So here are some of the key graduate staff that are attending this event and others. You could reach out to them at any time. The graduate staff are the ones that process all of the master's admission for all of the new master's students. So they're very involved. They're very knowledgeable about all these areas. So they're great resources to assist you. Now, when I asked all of our India students that are here, many of them, if they would like to help recruiting new students for the fall, I have more than 100 that wanted to help and assist you to come here to University of Florida. So we picked some to be on these webinars and the other webinars we've done in the last 3 weeks, but the rest said, please, it's okay to provide my information to the prospects. So all of these are listed on these slides. They have all said they will be interested in talking more with you and in helping you and answering your questions so that you can come to University of Florida. So I put all of this together and we will post this for you so you can know that you have lots of resources, lots of individuals here, both our current students and our faculty and our staff that want to assist you to come to University of Florida. So we've gone over a lot of stuff, so I'm going to end with the slides now, and we're going to answer any last remaining questions that you might have. So I will let Ashley help navigate if there's some questions that have not been answered yet.
Most questions have been answered, but we did have one kind of, if we could talk about the different campus career fairs, like for MS students or CS students.
Okay, so for CS, Christina, would you like to highlight that again for this particular student?
Yeah, so we generally, well, we have our career fair twice a year, spring and fall. We just had our fall one. We had over 50 companies, over 1,600 students that attended. So if you get admitted into our department, then you will be notified of how to register and attend our career fair.
Okay, was there anything else, Ashley?
We did have more than one asking kind of maybe if the students could share their experience with getting in-campus jobs, like if it's easy, if it's available to more people.
Okay, would 1 or 2 students that maybe have jobs now or search for jobs on campus like to answer that?
Yeah, sure, I can go. So during my first semester, I worked at the Stephen O'Connell Center, which is like a stadium where there are basketball matches, volleyball matches. And I think that was pretty easy to get. I applied even in the last week when I was leaving India, and I had an interview, and it's just like a friendly talk whether you can do your job well or not. And if you're really worried about having a part-time job from day one that you come here, you can even apply it when you leave India and get the process done as soon as possible if you're really into it. But I think they are pretty easy to get. A few of my friends work in Gator Dining, which is, I think, the biggest employer in the UF. There are multiple dining centers where you can work in either Starbucks, Wendy's, and there are many of them. So I think getting an on-campus job is pretty easy, and that was about what you can do in the first semester. In the second semester later, you can even, when you take classes from certain professors, you like certain courses, you can apply, or you can ask to be a grader, a teaching assistant, research assistant, and I think that would follow more based on your interest and what courses or what research areas are you interested in.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you also want to make sure there are some rules and requirements to be on a student visa as to how many hours per week you can work, etc. But most of the students that do want to get jobs are able to find those. Okay, any others?
We just received a question. How well do the jobs here on campus work if you have like a conflict with a class or a test or things like that?
So the schedules for whatever job you take, it depends entirely on you. You have to share your class schedule with the employer, and then you get your schedule. So it never conflicts with your classes, and it depends on you when you take your shifts, and not the other way around.
Very good.
And then we had another one wanting to know if the rolling admissions process is followed at UF or all applications are received after the last date.
Okay, so maybe we can have two different departments talk about that. Megan, would you like to talk about that for MAE? How the applications are reviewed and when the students would expect to receive decisions?
Megan had to hop off just a few minutes ago.
Oh, Megan's
She had
on.
another meeting.
All right, Jaleesa, are you here?
I am. Specifically for ECE, I review applications as they're coming in just to stay ahead of it. I'll check things like, have you completed your application? Do your scores meet our requirements? Have we received all 3 letters of recommendation, things like that. But the actual reviews by the faculty do not happen until after the deadline has passed. That's specifically for ECE. It may vary for other departments.
Okay, would any other departments like to give their process?
I will. Yeah, so I'm gonna piggyback off Jalissa. So for ours, as I stated, we get many applications. So I actually just started ours yesterday for fall of 2023 already. And I'll check them daily and get them updated. I will not reach out to you if you're missing anything. Like I said, we have over 2,000 applications. I just cannot do that. So make sure that you're paying attention when you submit your application. You can go back into it, look at the checklist, see if there's anything that's missing. Like I said, your letters of recommendations, your statement of purpose, your transcripts, upload them. One of the questions that I get quite a lot is, I've uploaded my transcripts. Do I need to send the official transcripts to the Office of Admissions? No, you do not. If you are admitted to a specific department, and this goes for everybody for the Office of Admissions, if you're admitted to a specific department, then you will want to send your official transcripts to the Office of Admissions. But until then, your uploaded transcripts is perfect for us. So I'll continue to check them. We do not start our reviews until after the deadline, which is February 1st for international students. And Mike, real quick, I had a lot of questions about fee waivers. Application fee waivers, most departments don't offer it. I would encourage you to talk with that specific department and ask them, because everybody is different.
Yeah, the only ones that are considering application fee waivers for masters are chemical engineering and ESE, which is civil, coastal, environmental. All other master's students do have to pay the application fee, but it is only $30 US. So it is one of the most economical you will find.
Thank you, Mike. I get tons and tons of emails
Right.
about that.
Yes. Okay, Ashley, did we get them all?
We just got one last question asking about the scholarships that are offered.
So, okay, so we'll have this be the last question. So the scholarship is the Academic Achievement Award. It's $4,500 towards your master's degree. So over the 2 years, everybody who's a non-Florida resident can receive it. If you apply to a master's program, you're admitted and you enroll and come here in person to Gainesville, you will automatically receive that. It will be $1,500 off your tuition for 3 semesters in a row. That's the main financial incentive that we offer. Most master's students do not do RAs or TAs or graduate assistants or teaching assistants. Some are able to get this later, usually not in their first semester. You would have to come here, search for a faculty that's interested, and then proceed that way. I do see some get it in their second semester or second year, but primarily for their first semester, they do not. And the Academic Achievement Award of the $4,500 is just for engineering. So we do have some overlap with computer science in our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. They're not eligible. You have to apply for Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering in order to be eligible for that. Okay, so that's all of our time today. Thank you so much. I know we didn't have as many on board today because we've been talking with so many students with India last week, but you did get a lot of extra personalized attention. We love the students from India here at University of Florida. This is validated and proved by the increasing numbers that we're having each year. Our current students that are helping and want to help future classes. So we'd love for you to be the same. So we've left you with lots of contacts to assist you. So please reach out to all of us. We thank you for your time. We know you're talented students and you have lots of options. So we're very glad that you are considering us as one of your options for your future master's program. So with that, we'll end today. So thank you for your time and we wish you all well. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.